Well, welcome everybody to our online program on addiction and recovery from the Sunshine Coast Health Center up here in Powell River, BC. And I'm going to give you some tips for the holiday season. And it's interesting that in the general public, we know this from a lot of research, is that there's a lot more alcohol and drug use over the holidays. Mainly for the drugs, it's marijuana. One study suggested that maybe 41% greater consumption of alcohol. And if you've ever seen the lineups at the liquor store this time of year, that seems pretty obvious. But it's also interesting that in terms of people in active addiction, there's very little indication that there's any more drug use in the holiday season. And interesting enough, even people in recovery, there is not very much evidence that a lot of people are relapsing during the holiday season. So that's kind of interesting. But there is this general idea going around that, the holidays can be stressful. Right? There's a family coming over, a lot of people are self-conscious, and maybe the person in recovery is going to relapse because, oh, just look at all this alcohol available in all these parties. And so that feeling is enough for some people because it makes life uncomfortable, right? All this stress and everything else. So we'll give you some tips on how to handle this. And the first tip, as always, is remember that you are the author of your life, right? And this is really a key thing to think about. If you were invited to a party or to a family gathering where there's alcohol, is this what you want to do, right? Do you want to, what's the payoff for, having a few drinks, things like that, right? But the key thing is this is your decision because it's your life, right? And how to navigate all these things. Are you going to avoid going to parties? And some people do, and that's fine. Or do you want to join in? Things like this. So this is it's an individual decision, and this goes for the families as well, right? I know so many family members who spend most of Christmas worried about their loved one. Oh, geez, what happens if he or she drinks? And oh, God, that'll be the end of the world. So they spend all their energy in what's supposed to be this happy time worrying about their loved one. And again, for the families to remember that they're in charge of their life as well, right? And so maybe it's time for them to, think about having some fun at the family party rather than worrying, keeping an eye constantly on their loved one. Anyway, that's tip number one for the holiday seasons, and we'll be back next time with another tip for you.